Okay, welcome to a great, beautiful, well played, very much with feeling song by Lynyrd Skynyrd, Tuesday's Gone. I'm going to start out with the acoustic guitar. I'll show you this. It's basic strumming, basic chording that follows. We'll go over the piano, and a little bit different structure that they follow. And then we'll go over all the guitar parts and how you can make those work together. Alright, so to start out with, we're going to be on an A to an E to an F sharp minor and a D. Okay, so basically our strumming pattern is, think of it as down, up, down. It's in 12/8, so there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and per bar. All right, so we you get it. All right, so A, E, F sharp, minor to D. Then we go A to E, and then we're going to do this little picking notes. All right, it's basically the D, open D, 4th string to open 1st string, and then 3rd fret of the 2nd string. All right, I just formed part of a D. We'll do that 4 times. The only time that will change will be in the 2nd measure of the verse, and I'll talk about that when we get to the verse. All right, so we're in the intro. We got that through the D with the pick notes. And then we're back into our A and E and F sharp to D, A to E, and then that's our intro. So we go through that twice. Then we're into the verse. The verse is exactly the same for the first 2 measures. All right, we're going to do the A to E, F sharp minor to D, A to E, and then our notes. All right, second time through, again, it's the same up until we get to these notes. We're going to add the notes because we're playing, just think of this as a D suspended 2nd. We're going to add the 2nd string, 2nd fret of the 1st string, 3rd fret, and then 5th fret. All right, so we're going from a D suspended to a D suspended 4th to basically this is a D power chord, if you okay, because we're adding that A back in, and we've taken out the F sharp. All right, so it will sound like this. I'm going to take it from the top of the note. Okay, the thing is we're not hitting the 3rd string, so you can kind of let go, make it easier on yourself rather than stretching your pinky and just catch 5 on the 1st and maintaining that 3rd fret of the 2nd string. All right, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, almost harder to do slow than it is fast. So that's verse 1. They'll go into the chorus, which is different, and then a post-chorus solo. Then verse 2. Verse 2 is exactly the same. We'll go through it once with the notes regular. And then the second time through the set, do the verse with those notes heading. All right, and then we'd be into the 2nd chorus. But okay, so the chorus, this first chorus is, it's just shortened. They only go through the first measure of notes once. Where in the 2nd chorus, they'll go through it 3 times. Those notes or chords are A to G and then D for a half measure. Okay, so with this shortened or abbreviated first chorus, we're going to do A, G, D, and then A, E in our notes. All right, so it'll sound like this. So that's the abbreviated chorus. Next up, after we do that abbreviated chorus, we have what we'll call a post-chorus solo. This is the first solo that you'll hear, but underneath it, he's really doing what we did in the intro. A to E to F sharp minor and D, and then A, E in our notes. All right. Then we're into verse 2. Verse 2, like I said, we'll do the notes plain, and the second time through we add the extra notes. Then we're into chorus 2. So I'm going to play chorus 2 for you so you can just see how it's extended. A, G, D will be 3 times before we go to A, E. Okay, so that would be the second chorus. Right after that, we're into the piano break. All right, guess what? Changes a little bit. The piano break will consist of, think of it as 2 parts. The second part is a chorus. A, G, D, A, G, D, A, G, D, then A, E in the notes. The first part doesn't have the little break with notes. We're going to play A to E, F sharp minor to D. The second half of this first measure will be A, E, F sharp, but then we go to G. Okay, so the second half of the first measure ends in G. So, I'm going to take you through the piano break, all right? And I'll play one measure of it. A, E, F sharp, D, and then the G. That will repeat one more time with the D and then the G. Then we go into, like I said, a mini chorus, but it's during the piano break. A, G, D, 3 times before we go to A and B in our notes. All right, post piano solo, just like the intro to the verse or the last, again, it's during the solo. A, E, F sharp, D, A, E in our notes. All right, then we're into the third verse. Third verse is just like the second verse. We'll go through the notes. The second time the notes will add the extra notes on the first string. Then we're into the third chorus. Third chorus, just like the second chorus, even have the piano break. And the outro. All right, so the outro goes out with just a simple A for half measure, E, and D. The D will be a full measure. And that's just continues until it fades out. Of course, we got the electric guitar doing other stuff in there. So we're going to go over the electric guitar next, and You'll have the whole song. The song starts off in the intro. We have this solo guitar coming in, and he plays a nice little kind of clean piece, and the clean comes in handy for when you're playing with the actual chord. So I'm using my rhythm pickup at about 6.5. And what we're going to do is hit 9 and then 9 again to 10 and then come back 9 to 7. Then 9, 7, 7 to 10. Then 7, 10 on the second string, back to 7 on the second string. Then it's kind of a little turnaround, if you will. We're going to go 10 on the second string, back to 7 first, and 10 on the second. Then we'll kind of start over. We're going to hit 9, and then 9, 10, 9, 9. So there's an extra 9 when we come back to 7 here. Then we're going to basically end this little part of the riff at 9, 7. And then we come to 12, 10, 4 times. Right there, guitar 2 enters. All right. So I've noted that on my notes, which you can download. They're available right below the video. But on the second, the second 10, the third 10, they come in, and then we got the fourth 10. And then you could actually hear that guitar end on 9. Alright, so it'll go like this. But the other guitar is taking over and it's really prominent in the mix. So we'll go over guitar 2 in just a second. Since I'm still semi-clean, let's go over the electric guitar underneath this. Again, you've got the acoustic, so this is just extra. If you got a third guitar player and you're going to do this in a band, we're just going to basically pick through the A chord to the second string and back to ending on the 4th string. Then we switch to an E chord. We'll go all the way from 6 to the 3rd string and then back up to the 5th. Then we go to our F sharp minor, and we'll pick 2, 4, 4, 2, and then back to 4 and 4. Then we're going to do this through a D sus 2. Just strictly through it, all the way. We'll go 4, 3, 2, 1, back to 2, 3. All right. Then we start again, but this will be shortened because we're going to do the notes that the acoustic does. So you can hear while he's doing that, the acoustic's doing. And the third guitar really, all right, is doing this. All right, we'll stop right there. So what we're doing is hitting the 4th fret of the 3rd string, bend to release, and then bend and release. Catching 2. And we'll do the same thing, but the 2 we catch will be on the 4th string. Now we're going to hit that 4, bend, release, and bend, release. Then we land on 4 on the 4th string. Alright? At that point, we come to the 3rd string at 2. And then you'll hear him hit 5 on the 5th string, pull off to 4, and hammer on back to 5. Alright, So, slowly together, 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, we're going to take off 2 to hammer it onto 4 on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. I'll play it and show you what we're doing. Alright, so it's all a timing. This is, even though it starts out kind of quick, the rest is a little bit slowed down. Then we're going to bend, so we got the 2s and 4s. Now we're going to take that 4, bend that up, and hit 5 at the same time, unbent on the 2nd string. Again. Then we go to a 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Alright, so we have this. Let's take it from the 2 to 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to come to the 4th and 5th string, but unbent, hit it once, and then we're going to slide it up to the 1 full step and back. So that'd be 4 and 5, sliding up to 6 and 7, and back. Then we're going to hit a partial D chord, so it'll be on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret. Then we do a 5 to 3 on the 2nd string 3 times. Then we start from 2, 2, 3, 5, back to 2, and then landing and ending on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. I've seen it show where you play the open E rather than the 5th fret, E on the 2nd string. Play the 1st string open. But later in the song, you'll see where this makes more sense to use your pinky, and that's where he goes. Because it's used in part of the solo. Okay, so we're into verse 1. Verse 1 follows along the acoustic guitar. It just picks through the chords and add some embellishments. So let's go through the first picking part. It's going to be the same A, E, F sharp to D, but again, we're picking through the chords, and when we get to the D, we'll do an embellishment, and I'll show you that. Alright, I'm just going to stop there. The D is we're picking the 4th string to the 3rd and 2nd, and then we take off. We're going to hammer on from the 1st string, 2nd fret to 3, pull back off to 2. We'll land on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and then hit the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. So all together slowly. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we start again. E. Then we do the same notes. This is the first measure of the verse, so we're going to do just the plain notes. When he gets to that F sharp, he's going to pick 6th string, 5th string, and 4th string. Then he's going to go into this, where he's going to hit the 3rd and 2nd string. Of course, you're barred, and then you're going to hammer into the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Then we're going to hit the 4th and 3rd, hammering into the 4th at the 4th fret. And then the 5 and 4, hammering into 5 and off. right? So it's then right to our D. Back, now we're back into A and E, and then this is the second half, so we're going to add the notes. All right, so okay, then we're into the chorus. So you got an idea there. Again, I've written this out. That'll really help go along with what we're talking about here. The first chorus, it's pretty much just strummed. Just strum A, G, D. The D will be a half measure, and then we're going to do a little lick to fill it up. So, and there's a point in there I'll talk about where the guitar 2 enters with the post-chorus solo. But what we're doing there, after we strum the first half measure of D, what we're going to do is take the 4th string from the 2nd fret, slide to 4, catch the 3rd string at 2, and then 5 and 4 together. Then we move that up basically to a D form, all right? If we play it, you know, the proper way to play the D chord, all right? So your the 1st string is really at the 3rd fret, and the 5th fret, and your 2nd and 3rd are at the 7th fret, if you're just playing that partial D. So what we want to do is bar that 2nd string, because what he's going to do is hit the D, pull off his pinky, and I think that's a D at 9, and then hit it back down twice. Alright, so from the D, I'll play the half measure and then into the solo slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is consistent throughout the chorus with the 2nd electric guitar, or the electric guitar. And then when we go A and E, all right, and then to the notes, the 4th, when he hits that 4th open 4th string, and I've noted this on my notes, that is when guitar 2 enters with the next solo, okay? So it would be like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter. And then we continue on to post-chorus, which again will be the electric solo. And we'll go through that in a second, and then we're into verse 2. Okay, the post-chorus solo is very similar, if you will, to the first solo that we heard in the intro, but again, different. So we're going to start out with 3 bends on 4 on the 3rd string before we hit 2. Then we're going to hit 4, bent, release, pulled off to 2, back to 4, bent, release, and 4 unbent before we hit 2 on the 4th string. Then we're going to hit 4 bent twice with the release, and then 4 on the 4th string. Then we're going to hit 4 again to 2 on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Then we go 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we're kind of doubling up what we did in the intro. Alright, So this whole thing together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're going to take off to our 4/5 bend twice. The difference here is the first, when we bend 4 and hit 5, we'll do that once. The second time we actually release it. Slide it up a full step and back, and then again. To our D. And then 5/3 3 times. 2 3 5 2 2. Alright, so from the takeoff together slowly, 1 2 3 4. Alright, so you get the idea. Again, it's in my notes. We got verse 2 exactly like the first verse. Then we're into chorus 2. Chorus 2 is a little bit longer. All right, our A, G to D with our lick will be done 3 times before we go to A and E and the notes. All right, and then we're into the piano break. The piano break is exactly like the acoustic guitar. If you didn't follow that, it's in my notes. A, E, F sharp to D, F sharp minor to D. They change it up the second time to G, F from an F sharp. And then back to D. One more time through with the G. Then we're going to basically do a but we're in the piano break, which is going to play the chords A, G to D for half measure 3 times before we go to A and E and the notes. Alright, after the piano solo, there is another actual solo guitar before the 3rd verse. Post piano solo, the first bend we do on 4 is a quick bend, release, bend, and then hit 2. Then we're going to hit our normal 2 bends on 4 before we hit 2 on the 4th string. Then we're going to hit 4 bent to 4 unbent. Then we bend it, pre-bend it, and then hit 4 and let it down and bend and release. Before we hit 4 on the 4th string. Alright? So all of that together up to that point slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point we're going to hit 4 pulled off to 2 and then open on the 4th string. Then we're going to hammer 2 to 4 on the 5th string, and then catch 4 on the 4th string pulled off to 2. Then we come back to the 3rd string with a bend at 4 to 4 unbent to 2. Alright, the next part of it will be 4. Then we pre-bend, release, and then pull off to 2. Then we're going to slide 4 up to 6 and back to 4. Alright, and then what we're going to do is slide up to 11 on that 3rd string and catch back to 9 after we've slid to 11. And catch 10 on the 2nd string. So that second half will sound like this together, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, at that point, we're going to slide up to 17. All right, and what we'll do is bend 17 and release, and then hit 14, 15, 17, back to 14 and 4. It's what we did here. Alright, so from, let's do the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so at that point, we're into the third verse. That kind of ends that solo part. We do another chorus, the third chorus, and then the outro. All right, the outro is our A to E. It's a little different for the electric guitar. So again, if you're going to play this electric guitar in the intro, it's A to E. The D chord will do different. We're going to hit the D note, the fourth string open, and go from a D sus2, so our first string will be open, into a D. Then the next solo guitar will come in that finishes out the song. We'll go over that and you'll have the whole thing. Okay, for the solo that takes us out, I absolutely love this solo because it just flows and it's played with so much feeling. So it'll start out here at the 10th fret and sound like this for the first measure. So what we're doing is we're going to hit 12 bent up and release to 10, and then 12 bent to 10. Then we're going to do 12 again, bend and release, pull off to 10, hit 12 again, bent, and then 12 unbent, and then end on 9 on the third string. So we're making a little jump, but it's pretty easy. At that point, we're going to hammer into 11, come right down, catch 10 on the second string, back to 11 on the third twice. Then we go 10, 9, 7, to 9 on the third. Then we do some slide downs. All right, so up to that point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put your pinky down there, slide from 10 to 9, and then we're going to slide from 9 to 7, 7 to 5, and then 5 to 3. When we get to 3, what we're going to do is hit 2, hammer onto 3, pull back off to 2, land on the third string at the 4th fret to the 2nd fret. Alright, so from the slides, that's the whole first measure of this outro solo. The next measure will stay here at the second position. Alright, so what we're doing here at this position, and we've ended on 2, we're going to go 4 on the 4th string to 2, 4 on the 3rd, and then bend 4 twice. Then unbent to 2 on the 4th string. Then we're going to kind of take off 2 to 4, 2, 4, 2 on the 3rd. Back to 4, and then this is kind of a repetitive 2, 2, 4, 3rd string to 4th string. Do that twice, all right? So all together we have this. I'm going to stop from that 2 in the previous measure. So I'll start from that 2 in the previous measure, I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point we jump up to the 7th position. We're going to go 7, 9 on the 6th, 5th, 4th string. We'll slide 9 to 11. We'll hit 9 and 11 on the 3rd string. We'll hit 10 then with our middle finger, slid up to 12, and then hit 10, back to 10. So from that 7th position, okay, now we're going to kind of stay at that 10th position. We're going to hit 12 once, and then 12 with a bend, release, and pull off back to 10. Then 12 bent and unbent. Then again, bent, released, and pulled off to 10. We'll land on 11 on the 3rd string. All right, so we have this so far. This would be the 3rd measure. All right, now we're going to come back to 10 and slide up from, basically, you're just sliding up, but you're catching 17 to 19. All right, that's on the 2nd string. We're going to hit 19 2 more times. Then we're going to hammer 7 to 19, hit that 2 more times. Then we're going to pull off from 19 to 17, catching 17 on the 1st. Then we hit 19, 17, 2nd string to 18 on the 3rd string, back to 17. And we'll hit 18, slid to 16, and then hit 14 on the 3rd string. This really flows together, and where we stopped on 14 really isn't a stop. It's just, we'll hit 14 again and stop. So let me take it from the where I've written it out, because it was hard to write all of this out where the stops and starts are. We're going to slide from 18 to 16 and then hit 14, but it continues on, hitting 14, hammered on to 16, and then 14 with some vibrato. All right, so it'll sound like this. Then we continue on. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do this. Alright, I'll just stop there. So this is a bit of technique. We've stopped on 14. We're going to hit 16. So let me take it from 14. Then we're going to bend 16 while hitting 17. And then it's kind of a release and pull off to 14. Then 16 again, bent up, and then 16 unbent. So it'll sound like this, from the 16. And then 16, bend, release, pulled off to 14. Then we're going to go 16 on the 4th string. Back to 14. the next half of that measure, we're going to take off from 17. You want to use your ring finger because you're going to bend that up and catch 17 underneath 3 times. We'll do that a total of 3 times. Alright, so we're bending that up, catching 17 3 more times while it's ringing, 3 times. Then we release it. Alright. Then we go to 16 on the 3rd string, back to 17 second, and then 14 on the 3rd. Wow. So let's take it from 17 bent up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start out 16 on that 3rd string and 17 unbent, and release to 14, then 16 bent and 16 unbent. So that's kind of where we take off. Then we're going to do again the 16 bend and release and pull off to 14, landed on 16 on the 4th string, 14 on the 3rd. Now, in the other, we would bend up and catch 17 on the 1st string. This one, we're going to bend 17 and hit it 3 times after bending it up. And we'll do that 3 times. Release it, and then we finish just like we did in the previous measure, 16 to 17 from the 3rd, 2nd string and landing on 14. And now we've faded out, all right? So this is kind of the fading solo. So, ooh, boy, together, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the song. I really hope you guys enjoy this. Don't worry about playing these notes exactly or the bends and shit. Just get the feel of the song, because that's what this song's all about, feeling. So, like when I met Stevie Ray Vaughan on his Live Alive tour, I won a radio contest, and he told me, because I told him I played guitar, he said, well, always play it with feeling. So, there you go. Enjoy.